Very quickly, we'll touch on the mare's hurdle. Benny de Joie, do whatever you want to go for, is the even money 11 to 10 favourite. Kevin, you were in a certain building today where Ruby Walsh was, and he said this is his best chance of a winner at the festival. So screw you, Min, Undersow, Bells Hill, and everything else that Willie Mullins has got.
Yeah, I'm starting to come around to the idea that she's the worst fav of the whole week.
Wow.
I've been thinking about this a lot the last few days, and this is probably the most under-discussed race of the whole week, because there seems to be an assumption she'll go and win. But look, I'll lay it out to you this way. Last year, she had the absolute perfect preparation. She got her prep run in. She got her favourite soft round. The race couldn't have been run better for her. They went absolutely wild up front. Le Bagawa and Apple's Jade up front from 4 out to 2 out, while Ruby was sitting, coasting in behind them, getting a beautiful toe into the race. She's got the split. Everything's went right. And she's fallen in to beat Midnight Tour. That's rated 145 and will never be rated higher than 145. That might be good enough this week now. But Jesus, she's had no prep run. She's probably not going to get her ground. It's odds against that she gets the race run to suit her as well this year. And I think there's some decent mares in there. I know there's a small bit of a paucity of flashy opposition. But geez, I'll take her on at even money. You know, Ruby is saying she's his bet of the week. She's one of those that'll probably go off 4 to 6. I'm inclined to take her on, and like if I had to put up something, like if Limini came back to her form, running close to Apple's Jade and Vroom Vroom a couple of years ago, if she could come back to that, and she didn't run too bad at all behind Presenting Percy over a trip that stretched her, I think, at Gore. And if she could come back, if Willie could work his magic there and get her back to full strength, she could go and win. But if you wanted one at a wild price, and we know we like wild prices.
That's what we're talking about. Come on, Blakey.
Mia Storm is there. I think she's 25s in a place. And I think a 150 horse would be enough. And I think she's probably a 150 horse, lads. She beat Elegant Escape not that long ago over fences. She's back over hurdles. She absolutely lashed up in a handicap hurdle of 142 there earlier this season. And she's dropping back to 2.5 from 3. And I think it'll suit her, because you watch her over 3 and she's jumping a bit like she is. She's jumping a bit chasery. But when the race heats up and they go a bit quicker, she actually flattens out quite well. Stays well, no nonsense ride, targeted at the race. As long as there's not a heap of rain, she'll be fine. And look, at 20 to 1 against a pretty windy fav in my book, I don't think you can go too far wrong.
You can get 25 to 1 with BetBright, but all bets will be voided tomorrow. We see what you're doing, and we will be talking about it on the podcast. She's generally 16s, but one firm is going 25s. Tony, your view in the mare's race?
A couple of things. I wouldn't be so negative now on Benny this year. I think her best run yet has come on the best ground she's met actually in Punchestown. To me, that was her peak rather than Cheltenham, so I wouldn't be knocking her on the ground. The one thing I would say is, though, Willie Mullins' stable form would still be a worry. Like, he's a lad that operates over the last 3 or 4 years 30% strike rate. Since start of January, he's 19% at the minute. Place horses well down as well. So, you know, it just hasn't been his season between the ground and very good horses getting injured. Next destination, Draconian, Penn Hill's not running, so little bit of a concern. And I'd say the lads that have been taking on Willie Mullins' favourites and all that since January are probably on good terms with themselves, so it might be something to think about next week. I know you, Kevin, were saying you reckoned it was his biggest challenge yet coming into Cheltenham to try and just not redeem the season.
Turn it around, really.
Yeah.
And look, she's no better man than Willie, but look, it's something to bear in mind. You know, he's proven that he can get his horse at the peak for Cheltenham, but it has to be a doubt in the back of your mind. If you're backing a Willie Mullins horse at 6 to 1, 8 to 1, you can kind of weigh that into the equation. But if you're taking odds on the likes of this mare, geez, you're a braver man than I know. It's, for all the concerns, that's just another one into the pot with Benny de Joie.
He does have a phenomenal record in the race, but Vroom Vroom Mag and Limini got beaten by Apple's Jade, so it can happen.
And Benny de Joie, I don't think she's in the same class as some of those mares that he's running this race. I really don't. Like, she's probably a 150 mare, but geez, 150 mightn't be enough here.
Okay. Tony, final selection for you. Are you going to go with her?
I'll go with her, yeah, but gritted teeth.
Gritted teeth. Barry, for you, could you be riding one of the Willie mares that JP has?
I'm not sure, to be honest, what a rider, if a ride in the race. But I thought there could be value in Stormy Ireland each way.
Yeah, I quite like her as well. I know there's a lot of talk about the juvenile form, but she pulled like a train the whole way through in the Triumph Hurdle.
She did, and she ran a nice race last time.
Yeah, big time. Jamie, your thoughts?
There's not much to think about. I think Willie's mare Benny de Judas wins. like there wouldn't even be a discussion here if Willie's horses were absolutely flying, as Tony said. Like they're running at 19% strike rate there at the minute, but if they were running at any more back up to his usuals, this mare just wins and that's it. I don't think there's anything there to take it on. Stormy Island, maybe. I just think whatever Willie runs, Limini, Stormy Island, and Benny de Joux wins.
And that will be music to Matt Chapman's ears.
Yeah, I mean, I'm amazed that Kevin is so iffy about this horse. I mean, even if you just took Apple's Jade out of her equation, she's absolutely smashed up Le Bagois. She's smashed up Prava Laguna.
You can't take that literally, though. Le Bagois was given a horrendous ride in the Mayor's Hurdle last year. Like factually, like the sectionals that were set, he went absolutely bananas, Richard Johnson, that day. And that's a factual fact if you look at the sectionals of the race. So you can't take that literally, I'd say. She beat a 145 mare that looked to run a race.
29 minutes, by the way, when factual fact was mentioned, if you were taking the overs.
Look, let's deal in some facts that, I mean, you can literally take whatever you like out of it. I mean, maybe every single horse she's come against is disappointed, but she's unbeaten since coming from France. She's trained by a genius. I don't know how many good horses Willie Mullins is running at the moment. He might be running at 19%, but I haven't seen any of his stars running in the last 2 or 3 weeks. I thought they were going to run at Cheltenham. So I'm not really fussed about what he's sending out at the moment. All I know is that the owner thinks it's a good thing. Ruby Walsh thinks it's a good thing. The champion trainer of Ireland thinks it's a good thing. And it's not even odds on in one of the worst and weakest races at the festival, which is exactly what it should be, because mares' races should be weak. This should be... It should, because this race should be restricted to horses rated 0 to 105, so that the good mares are forced to take on the big horses, which is... So Apple's Jade doesn't become a 1 to 10 shot, because we all know that in general terms, if you ran a cellar at the Cheltenham Festival, then Jigginstown would run Apple's Jade in that just so that they get a winner, because they have to show we've had a Cheltenham Festival winner.
Sorry, who was the leading owner at the festival last year?
It's Jigginstown.
Yeah.
Exactly. They don't care what they win as long as they win, because it's about proving, it's about showing the world that they're men and they've got money and they can do this.
They're running Apple's Jade in the champion hurdle, not the mare's hurdle.
Well, they're only doing that because of peer group pressure.
Do you think that Michael O'Leary gives in to peer group pressure? The man who keeps shouting pilots at him.
Absolutely. The pilots disappeared and he gave in to them and they all came back.
Took a long time before he gave in. Anyway, if you want to follow Chapman
won't even mention the plane that got stuck. Where did it get stuck? In Antwerp or Belgium or something?
If you want to follow Matt Chapman in, you can take 11 to 10 with Coral. I can't imagine that's going to last too long with the confidence the Chappers is putting behind it.
This thing, when this hacks up, just remember this conversation and the rubbish that's been said by some of these people.
Right.